Hey there, my Equalizer fans. It's your girl Barbie J here, and we are back with another amazing episode of The Equalizer, Season 3, Episode 15, No Way Out. And I'm telling you, this one was, it hit home because I am a domestic violence survivor. So it really hit home. And hopefully this episode will help some women out there and even some men to get out of these relationships that are abusive, and they protect these men or these women who are abusing them. So before we get started with this recap review, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please take a moment right now, hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell and select all, and it'll let you know every time I upload new content to this channel. Then I ask that you hit the like button, which is the thumbs up button, write a comment, and share my video. So this episode starts off with a young lady leaving a club with her friends, and they asking, do you want me to walk with you to the train? They say no. She said it's only a couple of blocks, I could do it. And as she's walking, she realized somebody's following her. She's walking real fast and starts running, and then all of a sudden she gets caught by whoever it is. And then it switches over to Aunt Vi in the kitchen telling Robin and Dee that she's going to get herself a deep body massage by her masseuse friend Angie. So she left, and then Robin asked Dee if she had time today so that they can train. And Dee was very excited and was like, great, sure. So then Vi gets to the spot and notices bruises on Angie's arm. And she suggested that she goes to the hospital and get it checked out. Angie was saying no, and that she just slipped on the porch when it was wet and she'll be fine. Then her husband Doug shows up to the salon, and Vi told him that she was suggesting that Angie goes to the hospital. And he was like, why? And she tells Angie, show him the bruises. And he tells her, oh my God, Vi is correct. You know, tell your boss I'm taking you right now to the hospital. But of course, we know what that was. He was doing a cover up, if you ask me. So then Vi calls Robin and tells her what she has noticed with Angie. And Robin tells her to trust her gut or her instincts or whatever, and to call Harry and see if he can find out anything on Doug. So Harry and Mel were looking, and it seems as if Doug is such a great guy. He does community service and coaches little league and does all of this extra work for people. So on paper, he looks like a wonderful person. Then we see Dee on a corner waiting for Robin and looking around, because Robin told her to meet her somewhere on this corner. So she's looking around and she don't see Robin anywhere. And the next thing you know, Robin comes up behind her real quick and snatches her cell phone from her. And Dee turns around and goes, hey. And Robin told us she must always be hyper aware of her surroundings at all times, and that's what her training today will be about: situational awareness, which is the cornerstone of self-defense, she told us. Because Robin said she had been watching her for 10 minutes, but Dee didn't see her, which means she wasn't, aware of her surroundings. So then Jackson, remember Jackson, the kid that was selling drugs in the boxing gym or whatever? Well, he gets into Detective Dante's car, and he's asking Jackson where Logo hangs out. And Jackson acts like he doesn't know who Logo is, and then said that he doesn't want to get involved because he's scared of him. But Dante comes down on him a bit, saying, I can't believe you're trying to protect him. Then when he's the guy who, tried to kill the only man who cares about your career. Then he gives Dante what little info he knows, because he said he was only a delivery guy, so he doesn't know much. So Dante was like, anything he gives will help. Then we have Vi showing up at Angie's house to check on her. She asks, what did the doctor say? Then asks, what doctor did she see? Because Angie was saying, oh, it's just like I said, he just gave me some pills and da-da-da-da. And she said, well, really? With it swollen like that? So as she started questioning her, Angie shut Vi down and told her, look, to please stop coming here and interrogating her. She said, I slipped on my driveway, and that's that. And Vi said, well, you told me you slipped on your porch. And so Angie just closes the door on her. Then Detective Dante goes into the new captain's office and is kissing up to her. And then she acknowledges him trying to charm her and said, she heard about him or something like that. And while in her office, Vi stops by to talk to him about Angie. So he lets her know about the rules with domestic violence and that it's up to Angie to come into the precinct to file charges against her abuser. And if she doesn't, that the police can't do anything to help her. Then Robin is with Dee in that coffee shop, and she's teaching her how to be aware of her surroundings, how to read folks, and how to never sit with her back to the door and to always identify the exits when she get in there. Then she tells Dee that she should learn how to watch and listen with her entire body. Look at folks' nonverbal cues. Always to trust her gut. And if it's telling you something is off, it probably is. And Dee thanks Robin for taking the time to train her. So, because she's really excited, you know. But then Vi goes back to Angie's house and tells her a story about her experience with an abuser. And she does this because Detective Dante told her, get her to come in and talk to the police, basically. So I guess Vi thought if she told this story about her relationship, it would help. And she told how a lover's spat turned into a night of terror and that it took all of her strength to leave him because she loved him. So it seemed that Angie got the message and admitted that Doug hits her sometimes and that it's not his fault. She was making so many excuses for him. Vi tells her those excuses are not a reason for him to hit her. So Vi asks us what is his actions teaching her son, Craig, you know, her 8-year-old son, and what is he doing to him? What's it doing to him? And Angie says, oh, that Doug has never put his hands on Craig. And Vi said, not yet. And I said, uh-oh. So she can't leave Doug, she said, and take Craig away from his father because he worships him. So Vi decides to leave her address with Angie. And Angie said, you know, thanks, but she won't be needing it. But you know how that goes. Detective Dante then finds out where Logo is, but he gets outnumbered and gets his weapon and badge taken away from him. He now has to go to his captain and report what happened. So this is the new captain. So he tells her what happened and that he was relieved of his shield and weapon, as he put it, that he was off duty when this all happened. So she looks into the Lonnie. She asks who the person's name is. He said Lonnie Lofton with the street name Logo. So she looks into that case and sees that there was a complaint made about Detective Hutchins about Dante's unwanted involvement in his case. And he lets her know that Hutchins is not making this case the priority it needs to be, and that the victim of the shooting is a friend of his. And she tells him that is more of a reason why he, Dante, should not get involved. She told him to stay away. And she said, is that clear? He's like, fine. So Vi calls Harry to update him on what Angie told her, and then she finds out from Harry and Mel that Doug Novak is really Felix White, and they learn that his first wife died suddenly when she fell down the stairs and broke her neck. So the medical examiners did say that they had seen bruises that had been healed from previous injuries or something like that. So Vi tries to reach Angie to inform her, but Doug came home at that moment with flowers and an apology for what he did with her to her arm. And so Angie didn't answer the phone when Vi called. And Angie, when he backs up, when he tries to kiss her, and then he started an argument over her using ground turkey instead of ground beef, saying, what, you think we can't afford beef and all this stuff. And then he slapped her and then punched her to the floor. And his son saw this, and Angie told him to go back in his room. And Craig, the little boy Craig, said, stop it, and ran over to hit his father, who backhanded little Craig to the floor. And Craig got up and ran into his room, and Angie tried to go after him, but Doug grabbed her and said, see what you made me do? This is your fault. And he started choking her. Then Angie showed up to Vi's house. Vi was like, I've been trying to call you. And when she showed up to the house, she took off her scarf, and Vi saw that she was bruised up and beaten, and telling her that she doesn't need a doctor. What she needs is a way out. So she has to leave Doug if she wants to keep Craig safe, she's told Vi. And Vi told her that she found a safe place for her and Craig, but that she must go to the police first, and that she knows a very nice detective who can take her statement. But Angie says she needs to pick up Craig from school first, and Vi said that she'll meet her at the school. Then we see Robin teaching Dee more skills while outside in the park. and she's telling her to take in the sights, sounds, and the smells that are around her. She teaches Dee about the differences in situational awareness between there and the cafe they were in. And she also lets her know that sometimes you need to run as far and fast as you can to protect yourself. Sometimes flight is your best weapon of self-defense, and she should know when to use it. Then we see Vi and Detective Dante at the school waiting for Angie, and the teacher tells her that Craig Novak's mother never came in to get him, even though she saw her out there earlier waiting for school to end. So now the dream team, Robin, Harry, Mel, and Dante, yes, are working hard to find Angie. Harry finds cameras around the school area, and they see Angie being taken away from the school by Doug. Then it switches over to Doug somewhere putting Angie into a blue barrel as she screams no, and he puts the top on it and seals it. So Robin goes to meet Vi and Dante at the precinct, and Harry calls and says that the last ping they got on Angie's cell was in East Brunswick, New Jersey. So they're trying to figure out how they got to New Jersey if Doug's car is still in the driveway at home. So Vi remembers that Doug volunteers at a place on weekends that cleans up toxic waste. So Harry goes into Doug's cell phone records and sees that there has been multiple calls to a place called Clean Ground, Clean Water. So Dante calls that place and learns that one of their service trucks is missing, as well as a 55-gallon oil drum. So the dream team rolls up to a chemical disposal plant in New Jersey. Robin shoots the lock off the gate, and they start searching in all the drums that they see. And Robin sees that one of them looks like it's been moved and the lid is sealed. And they get that lid off and the top off and find Angie inside, and luckily she is still alive. So they get Angie to a safe place, but she is still shaken up because Doug is still out there, and Vi keeps trying to convince her that she is safe now. She tells her that she used cash and a fake name, and so that he can't find her and everything. And so Vi promised to stay with her every night until Doug is in custody. Angie is grateful and says that she would be dead right now if it weren't for Vi and her friends. And Vi said, don't sell yourself short, because you had the courage to leave an abusive marriage and the strength to stay alive in that barrel. And she said all she thought about was Craig, and that's what kept her alive. She couldn't leave him without a mother. So Vi suggests that, she lays low and rests, and in the morning they could go see Craig, because she just wanted to hug her son. So while the dream team has police out there, looking for Doug, they also planted a police car outside of the safe house where Angie is. So Vi says, I'm hungry. They're going to go. She goes outside to get some food for them and lets the officer know. Well, when she gets back, we see that the officer has been shot in the head. I mean, like, wow, this man is really crazy that he would kill a police officer just to go after his wife. So he's got real sickness. It's worse than that, that abusive stuff. He's a killer. And then Vi, she gets back to the room and hears Angie being beaten and crying or something. And Vi pulls Doug off of her and he punches her in the face and she hits the floor. And he continues to punch Angie, and Vi goes into her bag and gets out her gun. I said, uh-oh, here we go now. And she points it at him and her hand is shaking like crazy. And she tells him to get out. And he tells her, look at you, your hand's shaking like a leaf. And he says, you don't even have it in what it takes to pull that trigger. And he ran towards her and Vi closed her eyes and we heard a gunshot. Then we saw Robin at the door. So at this moment, we didn't know who shot Doug. Robin had to pry the gun out of shaking Aunt Vi's hand and getting her finger off the trigger. She's saying, it's me, I'm here, look at me, it's me, And she tells her that Doug, what we end up learning later is that Doug had sewn a tracker into the lining of Angie's purse. That's how he was able to find out where she was. And Vi was like, he's a monster. And Robin gave Angie a card with a bank account number on it that has funds already in it to tie her over until she gets on her feet. Then an officer came to get Angie and to take her to see her son. And I'm sitting there going, I hope she gonna change her daggone clothes with all that blood all over her, because it don't make sense. And then Robin asked Aunt Vi how long she'd been packing, and she said since your abduction. Then added that Dee wasn't the only one who felt the need to protect herself. And Robin was like, I get it. So she asks, is she sure that she's okay? And Vi says she is. Then Dante came in and asked Vi to come down to the station. So Vi kisses Robin on the cheek and leaves with Dante. I'm liking this relationship, Vi and Dante and everybody all mixing together. Anyway, Harry finds Mel's friend Tracy. You know, Mel had told a story about a friend Tracy who had been being abused, and the signs that she saw that something was happening. And then Tracy ended up changing her number, and she was never able to find her. So it ends up Harry heard her. She's told him this was before she met him, you know. So Harry finds Tracy and shows Mel that Tracy got remarried, looks happy, took on a new husband's last name, and that's why she couldn't find her when she was looking for her. And he tells Mel that her ex-husband died in prison a month ago, and that's probably why Tracy started posting on social media again. That's how they were able to see pictures of her. Anyway, next. Oh, and Mel told her how much she loved him for doing that for her, and she feels so much better and all this stuff. Anyway, then Dante gets a call from Jackson that Logo is leaving town and that he is stopping by his girl's house to say goodbye. So Dante goes to take Logo down. He's ignoring everything that his captain told him. So he sees him with his girl, and he said, "You going somewhere, Logo?" And he tries to run, and his girl tries to stop Dante, and he pushes her off of him, and he chases Logo up to the rooftop, and Logo tries to get away from him by running and jumping over to the next roof, but he missed and landed on the ground below. And I'm sitting there going, uh-oh, I think Dante gonna be in some trouble for this mess, you know, with that other detective and with his captain, because they told him to leave it alone. So this is going to look like he pushed him or something. You know what I mean? But then, because his friend, you know. But anyway, then it ends with Dee coming home and seeing Robin in the living room. And she tells her that she's keeping an eye on Aunt Vi, who's had a rough couple of days. And then she explains to Dee that Aunt Vi was put into a position where running was not an option. You know, she reminded her about what she told her. Sometimes you have to run to save yourself. But she said this wasn't an option for Aunt Vi. So Dee asks her if she ever had to run away from danger. And Robin says yes. And I'm not afraid to admit it. You know, she said if I hadn't have run, I wouldn't be here right now. You know, she don't think she would be here. So Dee goes up to bed, and Robin hears something crash to the floor in the kitchen. And Aunt Vi was standing there and had dropped the plate. And her hand is still shaking a bit. And Robin takes her into another room of the house, in the hallway or something there was, and had her sit down. And she said, "You want to talk about it?" So this is when we learn that Robin is the one who pulled the trigger, because she tells her that pointing a gun with the intent to kill can be just as traumatic as pulling the trigger. She told her that it might not be in her to kill, and that doesn't make her weak. It makes her human. So Robin says she wished it wasn't so easy for her to do that, So Vi says she's glad that Robin was there and that she is so grateful to be alive. And she laid in Robin's arms and cried as Robin rubbed her back. And that's how it went off. I thought that was such a wonderful episode. It was so sweet. And I want to hear what y'all thought about this episode down in the comment section. So let me know, everybody. Let me know what y'all thought. But once again, y'all see it. I give this one 5 stars. We got another 5-star episode here with the Equalizer. This is your girl Barbie J saying, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Peace.